Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Be Free podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan, where I'm going to inspire and motivate you to show up for yourself. This week, I am loving Grace and Frankie season 5. If I haven't shared it before, I absolutely love that show. And it was just what I needed this weekend. I'm only through, I think, like the first 2 to 3 episodes of season 5, but I was asking my friend Monique, I think on Friday, I'm like, I need something to binge watch on Netflix. And then while I was talking to her, my best friend texted me like, season 5, Grace and Frankie, hashtag binge weekend or something like that, or weekend binge. And I'm like, yes, perfect timing. But yeah, it's one of my favorite shows on Netflix, so I'm excited about season 5. If you have not watched it yet, definitely get into it. It's really, really good. Um, and I feel like I may have shared that for my what I'm loving this week before, but season 5 is up, so I'm excited about it. All right, next up is my listener review, and this week I am highlighting Mrs. Newton. And the subject title of her review says, Feeling Inspired. Yes, yes, yes. This podcast is right on point. It is so refreshing to hear a real woman giving real life experiences and teaching women to live their best life. Keep inspiring us to be great. I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback for sure. I love sharing my experiences because it really helps with it helps me by sharing things because as I've mentioned on previous episodes, my goal is to be transparent, to be authentic, and to be vulnerable. So as I share this information with you guys, it's not only like I'm not only doing this to help you, but I'm helping myself too because I am growing and on the journey right along with you. All right, on to today's topic, which is what I know for sure. So, I wrote a blog post some time ago about this topic, and it was actually recently featured in the CL magazine. And so, I'm going to share the link to that magazine in the show notes. And so, when I was reading back over what I had written, I'm like, oh my goodness, it will be perfect to record this for the podcast. And I know I mentioned it a few weeks back that I was going to share what I know for sure. And so here we are. So I'm sure you've heard of Auntie O's share what she knows for sure, and as she features it in her magazine of O magazine, and then she also has a little book with the same title that I absolutely love. If you have not read the book What I Know for Sure by Oprah, you totally should. I will link to that in the show notes as well. But I'm always on this journey of getting to know myself on a deeper level. And even right now, I am working through some things that I recently, the other day, just had like this epiphany, this aha moment, as Oprah would call it, where there's more layers that I have to peel back and what I've accepted. So I shared a few episodes ago that this is my year to leap and to be in flow. But what I heard from God today is this is actually, or in addition to, I should say, my year of spiritual healing. There's more work that I have to do, inner work, as it relates to healing from some things and really positioning myself as I approach 40 very soon. That the decade of my 40s or the season of my 40s, I am convinced will be my glow up season. However, this last year of my 30s, there's some more work to do, and I'm working on some things that I never addressed before. So, with doing that, I have been more emotional. I've been journaling more, especially as I hear things or I see things or I have these thoughts or what have you. I've been doing a lot more journaling and really crying. And crying is really good for me because it's purging and it's cleansing and I need to get it out. And so that's the space that I'm in. And as I understand it more and I grow more, I'll be sharing more about it on the podcast, of course. But let's hop into what I know for sure. Again, this article was featured in CL Magazine that I will link to the link in the show notes. And I didn't take everything from there, but the top things that stood out I wanted to share on the podcast. So let's hop into it. What I know for sure. Number one is I know that I am doing the best that I can as a mother, and I'm proud of who my children are and who they're becoming, and I'm honored to be their mother. And the reason why that is important to point out is because I've shared many times over and over about how I grew up, and I'm always putting a lot of pressure sometimes on myself of being a good mom, whatever good is, right? And making sure that I am doing my best and giving my best. And as I watch my children grow and how they maneuver through life, and they're now 10 and 12, I am proud. Like, I am really proud of who they are, and I'm proud of being their mother. And I know, and I've shared this before, that my children, because of me being in therapy and doing this inner work and everything that I'm doing to be the best woman that I can be, they get to reap the benefits of my healing. And I am very, very proud of that. Number two is what I know for sure is that I am in my purpose, doing exactly what I was called to do. I'm doing exactly what I was put on this earth to do, and that is to be a light and empower others to be free. And that's not just within Be Free Project, but that's in general. Any person that I meet or path that I cross, like, I understand very clearly that my light is going to shine. And I am grateful that I understand that, because it is such a liberating feeling to know your purpose and to be walking in it. However, it's also challenging as well when your purpose is how, like for me, I formed a business around my purpose. And I understand that there is multiple purposes for my life, but one of the ways that my purpose shines is through my business. And so that can be challenging at times. But I know for sure that I'm in my purpose. I'm doing exactly what I have been called to do. And again, that is just such a freeing feeling to know that I know what I'm here for, that I don't have to go searching for it or trying to figure it out. And I've shared this in a previous episode all about purpose, but purpose is something every single person was born with. And you don't have to go looking for it, it's already in you. But I highly recommend that you go back and listen to the episode about purpose, so that way you can get more of my take on what I believe about that. Number three is I know for sure that I am going to make mistakes, I'm going to fail, and that is okay. That every failure, every mistake is all about the lessons that I'm going to learn along the way. And not just for myself, but to share that with clients, to share that with people that I'm connected to. And it's going to build my character and really shape who I am. So I'm okay with failures. It never feels good. Okay. Making mistakes doesn't feel good, but I love that I can see the lesson in every single thing. And I've talked about this on a previous episode, is that I'm so committed to the self-work and doing the inner work that as I'm growing and as I'm learning, I'm figuring things out along the way, and then helping my clients, helping my children, helping my friends, women that I'm connected to. I'm helping them by sharing the lessons that I've learned so that they don't have to figure them out on their own. Number four, what I know for sure is that I have what it takes to shift the direction of my life. And that takes consistency, it takes persistence, it takes hard work. I am giving my life to showing up for myself and doing the work. Now, again, it's never going to be easy, and I've accepted that, but I know for sure that I have what it takes, and I deserve to live the life that I want. And if I continue being consistent, being persistent, doing the hard work and showing up, I am going to reap the benefits of my hard work. So I want to take a moment and pause right here and remind you, because I shared this in a previous episode, that I created an amazing resource called 101 Resources Every Woman Needs to Live Her Best Life. And it is a downloadable free guide that you will find podcasts websites, music, books, and so much more. And I'm so proud of it. There has been almost 200 people have downloaded it so far, and I just announced it mid last week, right? And I'm getting positive feedback. I've received text messages, emails thanking me for it. One young lady shared with me, she said, "Thank you so much for creating this and putting all these resources into one place. It makes it so much easier for me to find what I need." So if you have not downloaded the 101 resource guide, Every Woman to Live Her Best Life, you can find it in the show notes. It is a free guide. Again, it's over 101 resources, and there's even space in there for you to take notes. My only request is that you share it with at least 3 of your friends by either texting them the link, emailing it, or even sharing it on social media. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, you'll find the link for that resource guide in the show notes. All right, on to what I know for sure. And number 5 is I know that I have a deep connection with God, and my spiritual growth is essential. So I shared a little earlier that I understand that I'm on a spiritual journey, and that with that comes healing, right? And just being more connected to God than I ever was before, and leaning on God even more, and understanding that God sees me. And so even as I go through the healing process that I'm in now, it's okay. Like, I'm covered, and I don't have to worry or anything like that. Like, God sees me. He is my source, my power, and everything will be just fine. Number 6, what I know for sure is that my husband loves me and he believes in me, and my vision and his support is so appreciated. I know for sure that I can count on him for whatever, whenever. And that is such a beautiful place to be in, because I have heard from clients where they have people in their life that don't support their vision. So I know for sure that my husband is always there for me and I can count on him. And that support is so appreciated, especially being an entrepreneur, a mother, and having all these different roles. Next, what I know for sure is that I'm always going to be on this journey of doing the inner work. And I've made a commitment to myself that no matter what, I'm going to show up. And I know for sure that my journey is my journey, and it's going to look very different from anyone else, and that's okay. And I accept the cards that I have been dealt. It's not always easy. There's been some very frustrating times for me, but at the end of the day, I understand that every single thing that I've been through or that I'm going through, I have to, because it's going to help me be a better coach, a better mother, a better wife, a better friend, and it's shaping me into the woman that I desire to become. Lastly, what I know for sure is that my healing is my responsibility, and my self care is non negotiable. So, I talk about self care a lot, and what I mean by self-care is I like to focus a lot on like your mental and your emotional health. So that's why I share the content that I do about doing the inner work and taking care of you, going to therapy, investing in personal development, because that's very important. And healing, like, I understand that because of my childhood and things that I've been through, this healing process will be ongoing. And I am going to learn how to cope and get better as I grow. So, those are just some of the things that I know for sure. If you want to know more, you can definitely read the article in the CL magazine. Again, a link to it will be in the show notes. This week, your action step is to pull out your journal and write down, what do you know for sure about yourself? What do you know for sure about your life? What is constant for you? That's your action step for this week. And then lastly, dope women doing dope things. This week, I want to highlight one of my favorite podcasts, which is called Gettin with Jade and Kia. And they actually are featured in my resource guide as well. And what I love about their podcast is that they talk about the realness of adulting and being a Black woman in today's society and everything that comes along with it. So if you have not listened to their podcast, I highly recommend it. I will link to it in the show notes for you to check it out. And I recommend that you snap a picture and share it on social and tag them and let them know I sent you. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. As always, I appreciate you for giving me your ears for this period of time. Please, if you've enjoyed this episode or any episode that I've done, snap a picture of the podcast, share it on social media, tag me. I am back on now. I'm easing my way back in, but I'm sure that I'll see it and be sure to thank you. If I did notice, I got back on Instagram a couple of days ago and I had tons of tags on the Be Free Project side and Girl Be Free podcast. And because, tags only last for so long if you're putting them in your stories, so I didn't see it. But I do want to personally thank you here. So everyone that has been sharing, thank you so much for doing that. I totally appreciate it. I apologize that I didn't see it, but I was on a social media detox for over 2 months. And again, I'm slowly getting back on, but please continue to share. I appreciate that. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts and rate the podcast 5 stars. I've also been getting some tweets. So I'm going to start to, if you've tweeted or shared on Instagram or Facebook how much you love the podcast, just tag me at Be Free Project and I'll make sure I highlight you on the podcast as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, girl, be free.